Welcome to A Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we're channeling our inner goddess for a mystical taste challenge. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Now, you don't know a lot about this, do you?
I knew like the vague high level when you initially messaged me about it, and then I had to ask you more about it because I was like, "What?"
Yes. So today, dear listeners, we're going to be solely drinking beers from Tartarus Beers. I think this is quite good actually because you went on somebody else's podcast and drank a Tartarus beer when we were first getting going, didn't you?
We've had Tartarus
We've had Tartarus
here.
on several times, but I remember that the first time I ever heard about Tartarus was because you were drinking a beer that had an elven.
Was I the reason that you first heard about Tartarus?
I'd never heard about them.
And I didn't know that. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's a while ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I first heard about it, because you were on somebody else's podcast cheating on me.
Let's not throw.
We're not gonna rack up
do we want to do that?
I will lose.
Yes, we know you're very popular. You're very important. I am not. We know.
I don't know. We're pretty important nowadays.
Yeah, I have been a big fan of Tartarus since I first heard about them, and I think when I first heard about them was not long after their inception, and basically I loved their artwork.
Yeah,
I loved their artwork. It was great. Yeah, that was pretty much as a D&D nerd.
Yeah, that's exactly why you started when you were drinking that beer.
Yeah, and that's what I drink. Yeah, I know exactly what beer it was as well, because I don't know if I was drinking it on a podcast or if I posted about it because I was playing D&D and I put that elven bottle and then I mentioned it on a podcast as opposed to drinking it. Yeah, that was a great beer. It was really good. I want to say it was a Belgian.
Yeah, I want to say it was a triple.
Yeah, it might have been. It was a Belgian something or other.
Which is interesting to me nowadays because since I've now got to know Jack and Jordan at Tartarus, and I have discovered Jack's real love for a triple.
They do lots of Belgian beers.
They do lots of Belgian beers, and Jack particularly enjoys a triple. So it all kind of adds up quite nicely.
So good with the theme of like the D&D theme, that old like medieval-y theme, and the artwork that goes on there.
Artwork is
their
always
labels
amazing.
Are awesome.
I think their beers are always really interesting. Like, they always make really interesting beers. I know they were hit quite hard by the duty reform because they were positioned as a brewery that made big beers. But I think they're coming through it pretty well.
I think that's why a lot of people knew them so much as well. Was like stouts were like it came to be known that stouts were kind of like their bread and butter, and like when they released things that weren't stouts, people were like, oh well, yeah, I got this as part of the order that I was putting in for all the stouts. But like I don't think people really appreciated like how well executed and interesting like the Belgian beers they were doing, and like the other bits, like even the IPAs. I think I had one from them that was it was purple. It was a New England IPA, I believe. And if anyone hears this and wants to correct me, Butterfly Pea.
Yeah.
Yes, it had Butterfly Pea. It was a New England IPA and it poured purple. And I think that was the thing that was the most bizarre, was because you were expecting one thing from a New England IPA and it ended up being something that looked very different and like tasted like the taste was really unique as well. So I think hopefully people have got to know them for more than just the big stout and barley wine people now.
They do a really good jasmine rice lager.
Oh, yeah. That's my favourite. Inari. I love it. I love it for the artwork, obviously. I'm holding off buying another can and a can of Tanuki because I'm a big, it goes with my theme of everything. And I saw one, literally I was scrolling through, holding myself back from ordering more beer from them. And I was like, oh my God, there's one called Tanuki. I don't even care what it is. I just want it because I love Tanuki. So they are real. They exist.
Cactus Cat, I believe, is their gluten-free beer as well. I particularly enjoy their fruited beers as well as their massive stouts. I mean, their beers are just great.
Yeah.
Jordan and Jack are also lovely.
Very lovely people.
Really lovely. And I saw them at a festival recently, and they have. I mean, I've seen Jack and Jordan multiple times this year at various different festivals. Jack also came with me to Yakima, so spent significant time with Tartarus this year. And at the beginning of the year, Jack was telling me about this series that we're going to look at today of beers that they've been working on. So it's a series of 12 beers. We're going to drink 3 of them today, and it's called the Goddess series. It is 4 sets of 3 different beers, and it's based on 3 sets each of Greek goddesses. So you've got the Furies, the Fates, the Graces, and the Seasons. So the Graces are 3 hibiscus beers. The Fates are different Belgian beers, because Jack loves a Belgian beer. The Furies are big stouts with really interesting flavours. And then today we're going to look at the Seasons. So each one of these is an IPA, and one ingredient is different, but they haven't said what they are. So they want people to guess. So I saw them at a festival, saw them at Generation Craft the other week, and Jack was like, I want you to taste these and tell me what the difference is. Because he's having mixed answers from people. They haven't revealed what it is yet. Someone did ask him if the difference was the carbonation. He told me that's not the right answer.
Excellent.
So the carbonation levels is not the answer.
Not the answer.
Just in case anyone wanted to know. There is a different ingredient. So I feel like we're setting ourselves up to fail because now we're going to drink these.
This is really hard though. Because my problem is I am going to think one thing and then I'm going to overthink it, change my mind.
Second guess yourself because that's what you always do.
Triple guess myself. And I think the particular challenge as well with this is like we have no knowledge around like, because I asked you initially when you told me about this, you're like, I've got these beers, I'm going to send you these beers. It's 3 IPAs and they're all different. And I was like, cool, thinking they were all very different IPAs. And then you were like, so we've got to guess the ingredient. And I was like, what? Like, that's not what I like. You were like, oh, did I not make that clear? I was like, no. So I was like, tell me about this. So I was like, I'm even more excited. Like, I'm always excited to have a Tartarus beer. Now I'm even more excited because then I loved this. This is like my nerdy fun element. Like, I absolutely love this, even though I second guess myself. And if I just stuck with my first answer, I sometimes would be okay. But you were like, I said to you, do we know, like, what is this, an adjunct? Is it a hop? Like, what? Like, and you were like, don't know. And I was like, an ingredient was the most that you could tell me was just an ingredient. I was like, are we going to have to get specific down to like what type of, like, what's in the malt bill? Like, are we going to be like,
I wouldn't put it past Jack. He has this little like villainous smile when he says it. So yeah, it literally everywhere that I've looked, and I was like, I thought I went and had a look on Untapped. I've had a look around, see if anybody had written any blog posts about it. All you see is for this set, we have brewed 3 identical IPAs but changed one ingredient. Can you figure out the difference?
Well,
that's literally all it says.
When I'm looking on the website, so I'm on the website directly, and like before we taste anything, I'm just gonna like let's get this all out because it could be anything. Like, probably could be anything. But I'm looking at like the allergens. So like the allergens are like barley, wheat, oats, and it's vegan friendly. So it's like, okay, that says to me it's not like they were like, well, one of them's got lactose in it and one of them's got. So true. Okay, and there's nothing that's necessarily considered an allergen in it. So like, okay, cool. Obviously apart from what we mentioned, but nothing that I could think of that would be like that ingredient that could be different. and if it's on like their main website, like I can't imagine that they would have done this so outwardly if it was something as small as like, this one uses this particular grain, and this one uses this one, and this one this one uses Marisota, and this one, because I feel like that wouldn't be, it's so hard because it's like maybe they would do that, but then like the casual drinker would have no way of guessing along. So like, would they do that? That's the thing, is like, would they make it so you have to have some type of knowledge? But I can't imagine they would. So I'm a bit like, I don't know. I probably don't know.
I'm just pretty sure that like I'm setting us up to fail.
Well, you're setting us up to embarrass ourselves. We're going to have a good bit of fun,
sure. But we're just going to embarrass ourselves. But I think we're going to have a good time doing it. So
I am withholding myself from ordering like the other sets as well. The only one that like what's really annoyed me. So
gorgeous.
Well, what's really annoyed me is because I found out about this so late in the game. Set 3 is completely gone, which are the Fates, and that one might be my favorite one out of all the artwork pieces because it makes me think of Hercules. Because the Fates and Hercules, and then my favorite part of that whole film is when they go, indoor plumbing is going to be big. So that's like, I saw the artwork and immediately went, I love that. I love the Fates. I know exactly what they're going for here. Indoor plumbing is going to be big, and I really want that set. But I can only get 2 out of the 3. So I'm really, really upset by that. But what I will say is they do sell the actual artwork, like all of them on one. So I might just order a few that I want and then just get the overall artwork.
Get the big artwork. Because what I didn't say is, so each of these labels, they all go together in one big piece of art. So you can collect all of the labels and put them together to make one amazing big piece of label art.
Or you could just buy their print, which is probably what I'm going to do.
You could just buy the print. But when Jack told me about this at the beginning of the year, I was like, mate, that's amazing. Like, so good.
Yeah, love it. All right, should we fail our way to the top?
What do you want to
start with? Gonna need the Fates for this one.
Okay, so the names are, I'm going to I've looked up how to pronounce these.
I was going to say better you than me.
You're going to be impressed with this. I've written myself some little
impressed already.
Some phonetic notes.
That's my tactic. Is I could listen to it a million times over, and I still think my mind just, sometimes you just can't get your mouth to say things the way you want it to. But the phonetically writing it out, that is the way to be. So
there's Dike, which is arguably the easiest and sounds nothing like it's written. Eunomia and Eirene. Dike, Eunomia, and Eirene.
I'm so glad it was you doing this.
I've probably still done them wrong. Jordan and Jack will be like, no, that's not how you do it. But there you go. Should we do them in that order? Should we start with Dike?
Yeah. If I can, yeah. I think I know which one that one is. I'm just because as you said, spelled nothing at all like that.
All right, Dike. I love that even on the label, hops, ? Yeast, ?
That's so cheeky, because it's like, that's really going to throw a spanner in the works for me when I'm updating my nerd stuff. But also,
that is really going to upset you.
It's going to upset me for that, but also you're going like, is it hops and yeast? Is it one? Is it the
one ingredient?
Other?
It says one ingredient.
Yeah.
All right. The artwork is beautiful.
The artwork is beautiful. So if you're watching the video, I'll do a little swirly whirl with that, so you can see it. Although what I will say is, when it says seasons and there's only 3 of them, that's really throwing me off, and it again also upsets my
I feel
thing.
like
but there's a QR code.
Autumnal.
There's a scan this QR code to learn the tale, and I think that is cool.
Yeah.
But it feels like there should be a 4th season.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
It smells fruity in the can.
Ooh.
New England IPA.
Yeah, she's soupy in the best possible way.
Oh, and she smells beautiful, and I love it. Galaxy.
Maybe pineapple. Pineapple, but not coconut. It's not Sabro.
No, it's not Sabro. It's not Sabro. It's not Talus.
Or Talus.
I know that's not Sabro or Talus. No. Nectar.
Little bit of a savoury note.
Nah, I just get juicy. I get juicy pineapple.
Maybe a little bit of grapefruit.
Like, I'd almost expect there to be lactose in it because there's almost like you can almost kind of smell from it like a creaminess.
It looks creamy, doesn't it?
Oh, just look at how beautiful that looks. And this for me is like when people are like IPAs all day, and I'm like, oh, I'm jaded by IPAs. I don't want any more. This, I'm actually really excited about drinking this.
It smells good. Can I smell a little bit of wheat in there, maybe? Well, it says it's wheat in it, so yes, you can.
I smelled too hard and it made me sneeze. I had to very throw myself away. I'm almost getting a bit of orange in there as well.
Yeah. There's something orange tangerine-y.
Hold on. I need to do a quick Google of what I'm thinking it could be. I'm wondering, so my gut feel, other than saying potentially Galaxy, is Nectaron.
Okay.
I just needed to validate before I... Arguably more that... Oh, God, potentially more that than... Oh, I don't know. It could be either. Those are the two that my brain is those two. Because they've got such... There is some crossover between them, and then I'm going. These are the beers that the New England IPAs I like.
This is your
that
wheelhouse.
smell like. I know this is what makes it worse. The beers that I like that smell like this, those are the hops that I then go. I know I want this because it's got that hop in it.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
Should we go in for a sip? Cheers! I'm very excited to drink this. This makes me excited about IPAs again.
It's pillowy.
I get a little bit of bitterness towards the back end, but this tastes for me, what people don't realise is a proper, the traditional Vermont New England, the original, if we're talking the Alchemist type New England IPA, that does have bitterness in it. So I feel like this actually feels very true to what that Vermont IPA is.
There's a flavour that I can't place.
I get
very
more
pleasant flavour.
I feel like I get more orangey element in the taste than in the aroma.
I didn't want to say it, but it's giving me orange creamsicle.
Yeah, a bit. I can see where you're coming from with that. The smell's not completely different, but the smell is so different to the taste. I wonder if it's a hop product that was used for this. I just feel like I want to throw something wild out there. I want to be Galaxy Spectrum. And then just be double down and be that's what it is. That's my gut. That's what my gut says.
I'd go Galaxy or Eclipse, I reckon. I reckon it's Australian. Maybe New Zealand.
I feel like I'm still going back and forth between Galaxy or Nectaron.
Uh-huh.
But I want to just double down and be Spectrum. just because I feel like I want to be so acutely specific. Cryo. I just want to start putting buzzwords together of just the most I don't even know. I know it's Siren's got the spin bot, but I would be they spin botted it. That's what happened.
That's a process, not an ingredient.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I just want to be they used a spin bot with something. Wood.
I mean,
It's not wood. It's absolutely not wood.
Conversations with Jack about the amounts of things that he puts in these beers, while Jordan is over in the corner just rolling her eyes at him.
Yeah, no, genuinely though, I do feel like to be serious and not just throw out ridiculous things just for fun. Yeah, I do. I still feel like those two hops are the ones that I'm like leaning towards the most on that. But then I guess the question is it that it, like, I feel like if Holy Goat, for example, taught me anything, it's that the yeast strain
right
can change so
that can
much
totally
about the flavor. So,
and it can produce a fruit flavor.
I would have never have thought, like, had you not, I would have made an assumption it was either like the hop or like proper adjunct being changed. If you hadn't said yeast question mark. But if I'm putting my logical brain on and I'm thinking, you know, the process to make these beers, the process in terms of they've got their own tap room now and stuff, don't they?
Yep.
So they've got their own tap room, which still haven't managed to get to yet, and they brew there and everything. I don't know how big their kit is. I don't know what they're brewing on. So my gut feel says it's probably easier to replace a hop or an adjunct versus like a yeast strain to have all three of these come out at a similar time. But I don't know what realistically, how easy could it be to change that yeast strain without having to, because I thought it would be easier and more cost effective to make three of the same base beer and then change the dry hopping. Because I like this, to me, I'd be like double dry hopped with Galaxy or Nectarine.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are not cultivating your own yeast cells and you're just using dried yeast, you could use 3 different yeasts. And you need 3 different tanks. But if you knew you were making 3 beers, then...
But I guess that's more what I'm thinking of, is like, in terms of the practicality of it. But then I don't want to lead myself down that path of like, but what
right.
is
are you
practical?
Overthinking it because you got excited about yeast?
Yeah. Because now I'm thinking like, well, hops feel like it's like that's the easiest thing to change, surely. But then I'm like, but surely that won't be it, though, will it? Or will it?
I feel like so we've only tried one. We need to try the others and see what the difference is.
Okay, yeah, right? Let's see how wildly different it is. Okay, should we get the next one? I need some water in between.
Okay, shall we grab Eunomia?
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. I can work out which one the name is.
The one with the longest name.
I'm wondering if I'm overthinking it as well, because I'm like, are these hints? You look at this one and she's got little berries on it, and I'm like, oh. Could it be a change of fruit in it?
Yeah, because I mean, like, I feel like Eunomia looks like spring, maybe, and she has got those little berries on her dress.
Yeah. All right, let's not go just on can. Let's not just go on can.
Mate, these have got numbers on them.
Oh.
And we have done them in the right order.
Where's the numbers?
Down in the... Right, so come down in that corner.
Ah, we accidentally did it. Mega cool.
In the right order.
We didn't... To be fair, I didn't even spot that. Yeah, I mean, we did that. In case you're wondering...
We totally meant to do that.
Let's put this at the beginning. So for anyone that's buying these, there's an order in which you drink them in, which we are demonstrating because we clearly knew and didn't balls that up.
I mean, I did take the names off of the web, like on the order that they're in the website. So obviously they're in order on the website. So that was lucky.
This out of the can smells a bit different as well.
I haven't opened mine yet.
Look at them trying to pull one over on me right here. They look so similar. Okay, now I'm back to thinking maybe it's the yeast. This one arguably smells more creamsicle.
I think this one's got a bit. I don't think it's psychological. I think this one has actually got a bit more berry about it.
I think it might be psychological for me. Oh, no, you're right. I don't know if it's berry, though, because it... Can't tell if it's just like...
too much in my glass.
I almost want to say weirdly, it feels like there's potentially a bit of... like mint, almost. Not mint,
I can smell something herbal.
Yeah. Eucalyptus.
Lavender? Rosemary? Mint? I get where you're coming from.
Like, mint doesn't feel right, but it doesn't feel wholly wrong. if that makes sense. I think I just looked at the name and then went, eucalyptus, but it's not that. But like mint, like it doesn't feel like the right answer, but it also doesn't wholly feel like the incorrect answer. And I would argue this almost smells more creamsicle-y. This smells more creamsicle-y than the other one. But
get that creaminess.
Going back to the first one, though, I almost can smell more of the bitterness that I tasted comparatively to this. I'm trying to scan to learn more in case there's clues. In case it's like a...
There might be.
Like an escape room, except it's not working.
It's too small.
Well, you never know. No, as in like it says 404.
Oh.
Yeah, 404. Gosh darn. I thought this was going to be a good little escape room hint. It is not. The thing is, there can't be... Looking at the back of this label, there can't be proper like adjuncts like fruit and stuff like that in it, because the ingredients themselves literally only list water, barley, wheat, oats, hops, yeast.
Because it's got to be the hops or the yeast, right?
Because I feel like it would be way too niche if they were like, yeah, we changed one type of barley.
Right. All right, I'm tasting it.
I've already tasted it. I feel like there's more grapefruit in this flavour.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I feel like there's grapefruit, but like with this really... It's like a grapefruit that has like quite a bitter back end of the grapefruit, but then like somewhere in between is a very subtle, almost like melon. I wonder if they changed the dry hopping in, like if they changed what they've dry hopped with. Maybe they've used one hop for the whole, one standard hop or whatever the hops they use across all of them, and then they dry hopped with different hops. Maybe
with a different hop. Possible.
Because I feel like I want this one to be really niche. Like I want to be like, yeah, they've used like Galaxy across all of them, and then like this one
smells now. It smells like fresh orange juice.
It does a bit, but then I want to be like, yeah, okay. So let's just say they use Galaxy or Nectar or whatever, and then it's like, then they've like dry hopped with like Huel.
Cashmere.
It doesn't taste quite so cashmere-y to me though. Or then maybe, now that you said that though, maybe it didn't taste quite enough cashmere-y, but it's definitely more orangey than the last. I kind of want to go back for a sip of the first one. Hang on.
Should have had crackers. Rookie mistake.
This is a mistake. I feel like they definitely have orangey across them, and one of them has more grapefruit. The first one has more pineapple-y flavors. The second one has more grapefruity flavors.
Yeah.
But and more of like a slightly herbal note. But I feel like when we find out what it is, which is annoying because we won't find out while we're recording, so we won't catch in real time how stupid we are. I'm wondering if it could be. So now I'm going into my second guessing mode, and I am wondering if there's a potential that it could be the yeast that's changed, because there seems to be very similar flavor profiles going from one to the other. They look very similar, like all of it doesn't feel wildly off. And so I am wondering if it is like a yeast thing that has slightly changed how. But I don't know enough about yeast strains. Like I couldn't tell you. Like I couldn't be. I could guess hops, right?
Yeah.
And I can like Google. You know, I can do a Google check of like which hop does this, and then go, oh, that's what I've heard of. Okay, but I don't think I could even. I would just go different yeast strain. Like I wouldn't know enough.
You can't say which ones.
London, Belgian, Brew. I don't know. Like champagne.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like I can't name that many different yeast strains. How many different yeast strains? You'd laugh at me. How many different yeast strains can you name? Go.
Okay.
Name them all.
Nottingham.
Yeah. Well, I can name areas as well.
Belle Saison.
Yeah.
SO4. Verdant IPA.
Oh yeah, I do know that one. To be fair, I do know that
one. God, off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Saturated in, saturated is a brand name for one. There's
off the top of my head, I don't know, but I could go back to my
low and no one.
Well, I could go to my spreadsheet and look at all the ones I've got listed down, but off the top of my head,
what ones can I come up off the top of my head? There you go.
What's the tasting notes for them?
I don't know.
Boom! Got him.
You don't know it?
No, exactly.
That was the question. You asked me to name yeast strains, so I did.
But this is what I'm getting at is I don't think I could be like, oh, this tastes like Verdant IPA. Like,
I would say you could.
That would be the hardest thing to name. My limitation is just yeast strains? Question mark.
Oh, brilliant.
I want it to be the hop difference, because that's the only thing I think I've got a shot in hell of, but I don't think it is. Should we try the third one just to see how?
Third one.
Because I know there's going to be back and forth across all of them. The one that we definitely meticulously planned to be number 3. We knew.
Right. Number 3, Eirene.
I feel like this is my favourite label out of the 3 because this is the one that I feel like I connect with the most.
Eirene looks like winter. Yeah, she's got snowflakes. You connect with her more than...
well, no, okay, obviously Beaky? Autumn, but like I just mean physically how she looks. I feel like
your colours are autumn.
My colours are autumn, but which one?
So
which one do I look more like? Winter. She's got a nose ring, and she's got fun hair colour, but
so's Thicky. Thicky's got an orange undercolour.
She does, yeah. No, that's true. But I just relate to this hairstyle more. Okay. I like her little crown situation.
Yeah, she's got a little fun. Yeah. Her diadem.
Yeah. But colour-wise, not my colour palette.
Okay, fine. I mean, she's a winter. Obviously.
Duh. But all right, let's crack into this.
All right, let's go.
Watch this one be so wildly different that we're like, oh shit.
Oh no.
And predictably though, it looks the same. You know what? It's infuriating, but I love it. Like, it's infuriating when they look the same.
No, my one's slightly different.
Is it?
It's clearer.
Oh, mine's not.
It's not clear, but it's not a soupy.
Mine's definitely not.
And it seems slightly darker orange.
Mine is very much, maybe a slight, oh, yours looks different to mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine very much looks potentially a slight touch. Okay, it's darker than this one slightly, but they look very similar. Mine's still very soupy, very hazy AF.
This one might settle for me a little bit.
Ooh. This smells more this one is missing that like aggressive, like it doesn't have as super juicy aromas. It's definitely more subtle. But I feel like the orange flavour has been consistent throughout.
Yeah, there's definitely orange in there. All right, you want to go in? You're still smelling?
I'm still sort of smelling because I'm kind of like... The orange definitely still feels to be
orange
there.
Creamsicle.
Orange creamsicle. Right, cheers.
Cheers.
I think it's the yeast. Because I feel like the flavours are far too... It feels like the flavours are far too similar. Not similar, but I'm getting the same groups of types of tastes in terms of like the fruits I'm getting. I mean, they could really be messing with people though and changing hops that are all very like...
I feel like this one's got a bit more bitterness about it and it's got like a bit of a white grape in with the orange.
I would disagree. I don't think this has more bitterness. For me, this has less bitterness. The other two have more noticeable bitterness to me.
This one's like, for me, this one's got like a bit of a...
This one's drier.
Earthy dryness to it.
Oh, see, I don't get earthiness. I get dryness. I get very like drying. But yeah, maybe it's, again, I am wondering if it's either yeast or if it's been that they are initially hopped with one hop and then the dry hopping was done with a different one and this was something like Nelson.
Yeah.
Which would be an interesting choice for what appears to be New England IPA Hazy Boy, comparatively to the rest of them. Normally you wouldn't just chuck a Nelson in there, but that's what makes it interesting.
But white grape in a winter.
Where are your thoughts at? Like, what are you thinking it could be? Because I'm just throwing lots of guesses out there.
I feel like it might be different hops, but I also feel like that's the easy route, right?
I would really love for this to be a champagne yeast strain.
Oh my god, could you imagine? Maybe it is.
To make it like a Brew IPA.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'm not guessing that. Not officially. I haven't made my official guesses. I'm just throwing out... If it turns out that one of the things we said was correct, especially if I'm like just wildly throwing out accusations. Like he's like, no, I actually... No, so I didn't have a spin bot, but I did whirlpool the second one with this. And that would be wild. It's like, yeah, actually, I went over to Siren, we used the spin bot, we threw some wood in it. How did you know? Despite it tasting like nothing woody, like nothing that's come out of wood.
Yeah, no, I'm
impressive.
Not woodiness.
No. Or any type of flavour that comes from wood. I don't get anything there. But that would be wild if he was like, how did you know? I just had the intuition.
I feel like this one's got Nelson in it.
I feel like I couldn't disagree with that. My gut says, though...
Or maybe that's just the dryness making me think that it has.
My gut feel says it's almost like part of me... It's either... If we're going hops, So if I'm going with these all have a hop difference, I would say they all share a same hop or two, and then there's a differentiating hop.
Yeah.
My guess would be this one would be Nelson.
Yeah.
Or if we're going yeast strains, I'm going to be like, this is a champagne yeast.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I get why
definitive about my answer though.
I get why somebody, like going back to the beginning when you're like, oh, somebody had said something about the different carbonation levels, and I'm wondering if it's because I'm wondering if I don't know if this was somebody that was like in the industry or somebody that has just bought the beer. If this was just somebody that had bought the beer or tried the beer at a festival and said, I think these are the differences, I'm wondering if it's somebody that maybe is confusing carbonation with dryness, because I know that for me, I definitely, and I call this out when I have them as well, when we have things that are very highly carbonated, sometimes I can go, oh, this tastes dry. Like I can't tell if it's the carbonation level or if this is drying, because it's quite, for me, they kind of go hand in hand. And so I am wondering if maybe that person that said carbonation levels, what they're thinking on the third one was actually the dryness, but the dryness they get from a high carbonated beer might be what they're confusing that with potentially.
I've just smelled across all three, and this last one now smells like it's got a bit of funk about it. Is that just me?
I think it's just you.
Is it just me?
Let me try, hold on.
It smells different.
It smells less fruit, like it smells less juicy. Yeah. Not less fruity, but less juicy. I would say the second one is the juiciest. The second one is the sweetest. The first two are super juicy. The second one is a sweeter juicy. The first one is probably more of a slightly bitter juicy. This one is definitely more... I wouldn't say funky, but...
Maybe it's that earthiness that I got in the flavour.
Potentially earthy, potentially a bit...
Maybe it's not a Hallertau. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Nelson. Maybe it's Hallertau Blanc.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's because you put the idea of grape in my head, or if it is more of like a... I almost kind of want to say like... Herbal's not the word I want to use because that's not what I mean. But when you have a fruited tea, like when you have like a raspberry tea or something like that, and there's like it's not like plants, it is more like almost that tiny bit of like sweetness in it. There's almost a bit of like, I even want to say cranberry or something. I don't know.
In the last
Maybe
one.
I've just smelled it too much now.
I'm getting tangerine now.
I look like such a jerk, like here in my face, just like huffing beer fumes, and I'm there just huffing IPA fumes like an actual dickhead. Like I'm like watching myself, and I'm like, what have I become? All I think of is Randy Marsh in South Park. When they're like, you're an alcoholic. He's like, no, we're having a tasting. He's like, oh, you're having a wine during the day. He's like, no, I'm having 5, and it's called a tasting, and it's classy. That's like how I feel right now. Is I look like such a wanker.
Did you think 4 years ago when we started this podcast
that I'd be huffing IPA fumes? No.
IPA fumes on a Monday night.
So I think I look like such a DB. No. I don't regret it. This is just authentically me. But I just caught a glance at myself in the video and I was like, what am I doing?
I love it.
It's Monday night. What is happening?
We're trying these beers and we're going to pick out what's different about them.
I'm here shouting about the different hops that might be there and maybe yeast strains.
Beer nerds. Brilliant.
I'd say I need a hobby. I've got 20 of them.
There's definitely something orange family about all of these.
I feel like this one. Okay, I'm gonna go out here. This last one.
Go.
Makes me think. Cranberry sauce. I know that doesn't sound right, but when I make cranberry sauce from home,
right,
I do cranberries with orange juice in it and spices. So you do like some cinnamon and some whatever else in it. And I'm not saying it's a heavy cranberry. I'm just saying that maybe I've huffed the IPA fumes so much that my brain is confusing what I'm smelling, because it is heavily orange. Like, I feel like whatever the hop is that's across it, it's going to be an orangey one.
Yeah.
But I would say more than just like a citra. Like, I wouldn't even say like a citra. Like, I think it's something that's more juicy orange, bordering on stone fruits, almost like that type of juicy.
Galaxy or Eclipse, I reckon.
Let's go. I'll say Galaxy, because I feel like I'm going Galaxy or Nectar and you're going Galaxy or Eclipse. So I feel like Galaxy is the main component. So I feel like all of them have Galaxy, just for argument's sake.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that is obviously the key aromas that we're getting. But then on this last one, it almost feels like there is this tiny bit of this like other fruit. Like, I want to say that the second one had berries in it because of what she's wearing, but I feel like that's throwing me off. And I feel like winter cranberry sauce, spices.
That's not a bad shout.
But then I also feel like I love a good like murder mystery escape room, and I'm like ready to solve it. I'm ready to crack this case. Like, anytime we watch any murder mysteries or anything like that, like, I'm always like, it's that person, and Rick's like, for fuck's sake. And I'm usually always right. So I feel like now I'm on the case. You're welcome. Like, Detective Powell here.
It was
Detective Powell here to huff IPA fumes and get down to business.
Miss Scarlett in the tap room with the, I don't know,
the really expensive hose. The really expensive hose that anytime I go to like a brew, like anytime we go to a tap room, you can see the brewery in the back and you see the hoses and you just want to be like, oh, someone look after that. That's very expensive. A foot of that is very expensive. Let's just not touch that. No, it's a lie. It was me. It was me all along. It was me.
It was Jack.
Yeah. In the Tartarus tap
killing
room.
our beer tasting dreams.
Oh yeah, because it just makes me feel like I feel like he's gonna be like, what actual idiot? Or he's gonna be like, what insane geniuses? Like, actually, let's flip it on its head. Maybe we're not ridiculous. I'm gonna give you the new pitch. We are so intelligent that actually it's hard for us. We're so complex. We love these complex flavors. We love cinnamon. We love all these things. That actually we're thinking too much about it, because we're not basic. We're not basic.
We're not.
We're complex as hell.
Listener.
This is even harder than I thought it was going to be, because I feel like there's only two abilities for what's changed, and I'm not sold on either. When I say I'm not sold on either, it's like it could be either for any of them.
Yeah.
Right. When I have 1 and 2 in quick succession with no water in between, they do taste very similar. So I'm inclined to believe the yeast is the same, the hops are the same. It's got to be dry hopping. That's different. I'm going to lock that in as my answer. I think the dry hopping's different, and they've been dry hopped with different hops.
I am going to go with that as well.
I think they've been.
I think that's fair.
It'd be a bold statement. What if they've all been hopped with the same hop, but different forms of the hop? Or they all use the same hop, Galaxy, and then they've used a different secondary product.
Time, or it's been done at a different time?
No, because it's a different product. It's a different ingredient. not a different addition of the ingredient.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So I wonder if it's like, I'm comfortable to lock in this probably very wrong answer if they all use the same yeast. They all have used Galaxy across them as a base beer. And then they've either changed the dry hopping or the ingredient for like a secondary hopping of some sort. The third one being, do I want to say Nelson? But I don't think so now because I feel like it's giving me more. It's slightly different vibes. What was the other one that you said?
Hallertau Blanc.
What's the tasting notes of that?
I mean, because it's a traditional German one, you get a little bit of that spiciness, but it tends to be a bit fruitier. Off the top of my head.
The spicy element of it, though, I feel like I could take that for this.
Yeah, which is what made me say it.
I think this is about as close to nailing down an answer as I can get. I think so that's me done.
Hallertau Blanc's flavour profile is said to be fruity with wine-like qualities of gooseberry and grass, similar to that of Sauvignon Blanc. Also features cassis, elderflower, in addition to grapes, grapefruit, and lemongrass.
Yeah, I think that's the closest I can get to guessing. Do you want to add anything on in addition to that?
I think Eirene is either Hallertau Blanc or Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vicky might be Eclipse.
Like, I'd even go as far as to say each of them might also have, like, Citra in it or something. Like, Citra and Galaxy. And then, like, something different.
And I think Eunomia might have cashmere or Huel melon in it. I feel like there's a melon.
I'm going to go Huel because I feel like my first taste, the first thing I said was like, this has more Huel in it. So I might have to go more the second one I'll have to say I'll back Huel on that because that was my gut feel.
I think it's more melon.
Of what I was getting from it. Yeah, I was getting melon from it. So,
and I feel like, melon is a kind of summery spring type of fruit.
Yep.
Orangey. Could be a slightly more autumnal vibe. White wine, grape and elderflower, a bit more of a wintry vibe.
I'm happy to agree on that. Obviously, you've picked a slightly different. Well, you've gone back and forth between two on the second one.
Yeah.
On the second one, I'm going to go Huel because I think that was my gut feel. So I'm going to go Huel on that one. And the first one, nectarine as well. So we're saying Galaxy across all of them. Maybe Citra as well. We don't know. Same yeast, and I will say, that's my lock-in guess. Different. What should be like? Haha! It's all Galaxy, but there was all different types of Galaxy products, like different types of Galaxy in different ways. So, like, one's whole cone, one is.
I mean, technically, that's the same ingredient, and technically, it shouldn't really make it that much of a difference in flavour. That these are. I mean, I think. The first two have less of a difference between the third. Yeah, similar than the third one. The third one's very different. So I think that that much difference shouldn't happen between different iterations of the same hop, really.
This is when he's like, it's none of those.
Yeah, it's nothing like none of those yeast, things. Yeah,
and he's like, it's the yeast. You guys are dumb.
That's what we think.
That's our thoughts, and I make no apologies for it.
No,
so
none.
There we go. I feel like if I sit here any longer, I'm just going to change my mind again. I'm just going to lock in with what I said. So to reiterate, we said same yeast, Galaxy,
Yeah.
Potentially with a bit of Citra in it, maybe. But Galaxy for sure across all of them. The first one, what was the extra hop that you said?
Eclipse, I think.
Eclipse, and I'm going Nectaron. Second one, I've said Huel. You've said
Huel melon or cashmere. I can't commit to one.
One of the two.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's cool. We'll take both those. I'm just going with one because I'm like it. Yeah. I could see where you're coming from with the cashmere, but it almost didn't taste cashmere enough. But then I don't know if that's because of like what it was being mixed with. So it could be wrong. So I'd be hesitant to guess that, like, not fully wrong, but I'm putting my eggs in that basket. And then the third one, it was Nelson or
Hallertau Blanc, I reckon.
Hallertau Blanc. I'm kind of leaning towards Hallertau Blanc more so than Nelson. Fair. But I think either of those close. Or I'd even hazard a guess if that one's got a champagne yeast strain in it. But I don't know if that's just because of that, like
dryness.
Like dry wine. But it's not vine. Like, I wouldn't say massively like vinous. Yeah. No. So yeah, that's our finals.
Fine, that's our final answers. Most important question: which one is your favourite?
Okay, hold on. What's yours? While you say that, I'm going to drink through them again.
Hands down, Fiki. I mean, I like all of them for different reasons, but Fiki is like, I've just been enjoying.
You've really gone hands down on it.
Yeah.
I think the second one might be mine. I'm not even going to try to say it.
I can see that. I can see that for you.
Because it tastes very similar to the first one, but there's almost a little bit less bitterness in it and a little bit more fruitiness in it in a way. I like the melony taste to it, so I like them. I think the first two are definitely my favorite. The third one is definitely good, but I'm struggling because the first two are so evenly like there's such small differences between them. So, but at a push, I'd say the second one, even though the first one is my colour palette.
It is. And you think the third one is you?
The third one, it is. Look, it's got a nose ring. I've got a nose ring. I'm wearing blue. Her hair's blue.
Fine.
I'd wear a fun crown, which I don't know how to say the name of. She's got one.
Diadem.
Yeah, I'd wear one of those.
See, if you read Harry Potter, you'd know that.
You know I don't read Harry Potter. I will say it on this podcast. I do not and have not read Harry Potter. I made it through one, not even a full chapter of book one when it came out, and then I was like, not for me.
Brilliant. Well, that was enjoyable.
That was. I'm now going to go order the rest of probably the set that I can get, minus the 3.
I don't think it's as disastrous as I felt it might be. We're going to find out, and then we're going to get told that we're completely wrong. But that's fine, because the whole point of it is it's fun.
I felt like it wasn't as disastrous as I built it up in my head to be, but then also I feel like every time you think you do well, you do shit, and every time you think you do shit, you do well. So, and we don't have the immediate, like, whereas like when we were doing the guess the hop, we had a pretty immediate yes or no, this was right, this was wrong from Siren. Whereas like this one, we got to wait to find out. The Yonders as well. Like, I really love these. I wish more breweries would do these like mystery beer challenges, because to me these are like the most fun thing. Because even with Yonder, we were sat there going like, what is this? And normally I'm like, it's 100% this, and then I'm like, oh, I don't know though. I don't know. And I should have just locked in my first answer.
Well, go out and buy these beers, dear listeners.
Before I buy more.
Before Tori buys more. And go and find the rest of the Goddess series, because the artwork is beautiful and some of them sound absolutely delicious. I think I've had some at a festival, and I think I've got a couple in the fridge. So I'm looking forward to those for sure.
I need to go up and visit the Tartarus tap room, because I feel like...
Yeah, we need to do that.
Since they opened, I'm like, I need to get on there. Just for an overnight.
Yeah, just take the podcast on tour at some point. Tori, if people want to talk to you about yeast strains,
don't
get hold of you.
Don't, because I find them interesting, and it is like you might as well talk to me about like black holes or something where I'm like, so fascinating. I have more questions than answers. But
we need to get Alex on.
Yeah, I know.
Alex on to talk about yeast.
We've been trying to align. None of us has time. But actually, you know what's even better? I'm going to hold these up. If I can get them all in a row so that things don't fall out of my hands. Do you see these? If you're watching the video, which one do you think is the most me? Or which one do you feel like you connect with the most? Which one do you identify with the most? That is actually that's probably what I can have a way more compelling conversation on. You can let me know on Instagram at adventures_in_hoptimism, or you can email me, or if there's any more, like if you find any more mystery sets that we can do this fun stuff with, please email me at adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com, or you can reach out to both of us, because I think that it's pretty fair to say we both enjoy these, not just me. You can DM us on Instagram at A Woman's Brew, or you can email us at awomansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. Joe, if people want to test your knowledge on yeast strains, because I feel like you definitely were like, in this one, in this one, in this one, in this one. Mine are all written down on a spreadsheet I got from the back of cans. Where can people come talk to you?
You can come talk to me. I will probably point you in the direction of people that I know that are far more knowledgeable about yeast than I am, because I know those people, and I can get you in contact with them if you need some help with your yeast. But you can get hold of me on Instagram. I'm Love Beer Learning, or you can come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, or you can email me lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. I'm going to go finish.
I should have said, come DM me if you want me to come on your podcast and talk more about Tartarus and their artwork. But that was a missed opportunity. But
unsponsored ambassador.
Of lots of breweries, especially after this as well, especially Tartarus. Let's go drink the rest of these beers.
Cheers.
Cheers.